Joining me now on Skype is Chino Obiagu and another lawyer, Gani Fani, joining me here in the studio. It's nice to have you join me, and nice to have you join me too, Chino. Let me start with you, Chino Obiagu, there on Skype. Now, if you listen to some of the reports we played, the special advisor to the president on media, Femi Adesina, was saying that, well, they knew it was going to end this way because there was no case at all in the first place. What do you make of that?
Well, there was a case, and that's why the court sat. And the mere fact that the judgment was to one side, of course, the judgment had to get to a side, does not mean the other side did not have a very cogent case. Of course, they did. Atiku Abubakar and the PDP did have a very arguable and recondite case. But the court, the tribunal in its wisdom, has found that the petition has no merit. And we as lawyers, as Nigerians, we must accept the decision of the tribunal because the rule of law is hinged on complying with the judgments of court. So if the PDP goes to Supreme Court, then we again await the verdict of the Supreme Court. But as it is now, the petition was declared not to have merit, and we have to respect that judgment of that tribunal.
All right, Chino, let me stay with you. There were two issues there from the court that a lot of Nigerians feel maybe even morally they could be answered. Now, one of the case was the issue of the eligibility of the president to contest for this election. And another issue was whether former Vice President Atiku Abubakar was a Nigerian or not. And the point there is, someone who has been head of state before, are these not evidence enough to make him contest as president? And on the other hand, someone who has been a governor, who has been a vice president, are these not grounds enough to say he's a Nigerian?
Well, the law does not allow such presumptions. The mere fact that you wrongly assume an office before does not mean that you cannot be found later not to be qualified. And if that happens, your previous assumption of office will be nullified. So the law does not permit assumptions. The law is based on evidence. And if you can prove by evidence that the person has not been qualified, then you get your case successful. Now, in this case, I think the tribunal, based on the fact that there was a higher certification from the military school, which, of course, is far above the minimum requirement of the Constitution, and find that that was reasonable enough to infer that there was the threshold for primary education, secondary education was crossed. So that's the reasoning, and it's only the Supreme Court that can fault that reasoning, and we must allow the Supreme Court to do so. With respect to citizenship of the presidential candidate of PDP, Atiku Abubakar, I think the tribunal's finding is sound on that point, and I think we should await the judgment of the Supreme Court.
All right. Thank you very much, Chino Obiagu, for your insight into this. Now, Gani, let me